So coming out of grad school, I knew that I wanted to get my license, but when I transitioned into working for education, I don't know, like I kind of got caught up in the comfort of that space, which just kind of delayed the process a little bit. But I've always known that I wanted to get my license to maximize the impact that I could have on the communities that I have a preference for serving. So being able to be like a resource for like Black men is really important to me. Men of color in general, but particularly Black men, because I know that experience. But in a bigger picture, in larger society, I understand the experience of men of color in the United States of America. So being able to be someone who's like a resource to make them feel safe, to allow them to like get those emotions out and allow them to come into a space where they're not criticized, where like you can cry in here, you can be angry in here, you can be really sad, you can be disappointed, you can be excited, without a label of any type being put on you. Like if they can just get this out of, they can be seen in this moment when they were 16, today at 35, then it's like, okay, now I have the freedom because I've taken that aspect of me and I put it in its proper place, and I've done it with someone who I know can really understand. So I would say them first, and then like my kiddos. Like I really enjoy working with the kiddos and being like a positive example for them, and being able to be the person that really exposes them to different skills and exposes them to different scenarios, and can really, like in a therapeutic way, really push some of their thought processes that then do translate into how they're interacting with their parents at home, or how they're interacting with school staff, or even with like their friends or siblings at home. So I was really excited about this, like, I take time to prep for my sessions. So I was really excited about this one particular session, because I had like acquired some new information, and I was like, oh, this is really good. Like, this is what we need to do. So it took a couple of days, and like really preparing for it. We came in, had my worksheets ready, and like we're jumping into it. So I start off normal, and I'm like, hey, how's the week been? Blah, blah. We do about 15 minutes of like some small chat. And then we get into the work. But as we got into the work, my client became extremely triggered. Then about a couple minutes, I realized I had to like divorce any preconceived, this is what we're going to accomplish today, because I had to be responsive to understanding why the client was triggered, but I also had to get them to see why they were triggered as well. But they were triggered 100% because of the content we were going over. So like the content was giving them insight into why other people can impact their emotions in the way that they can. So it's like, man, like we're right on the other side of this diamond, but we had to stop digging. We couldn't get to the diamond because it was too hard for you to break through that wall. Most of the session was me allowing them to express their anger and like get all that out as I'm sitting there and I'm being supportive, and they kept apologizing. I'm sorry. I was like, don't apologize. I said, like this space is for you to be able to let this out. He said the reason that I was so triggered in the moment was because you were spot on, and like you were hitting all these buttons of things that I know I need to work on. So they said like, I appreciate you like pushing through and working with me and helping me feel safe and allowing me to get that out. And they recommitted to their process. They said, I didn't go do these things that I said I wanted to do. And like, I'm looking forward to jumping back into the work when we see each other next week. It is a very like small, big company. It's small enough to where like the senior leadership is accessible, and I've appreciated, people like CJ or Tiffany Tate, or even Charles Roberts, like taking time to like meet with me, but multiple times. And you don't typically get access to senior level leadership in a lot of places that are big and busy. So like the fact that it's small enough for those folks to take time with me singularly, not even in a group setting, I think is pretty impactful, and that tells me something about like the value that we place on the people that work within our organization, if they choose to become like involved and invested in that way. Because some people choose to just come in and do their thing and go home, which is perfectly fine as well. But I think it's also like from attending some of the town halls, it's also like pretty vast, and it covers like a pretty wide range of things, and like the breadth of the work is significant enough for it to still be considered, I guess, like either moderate or big. So I appreciate that. Like the reach is big, we reach a lot of people, but it's not so big that that the folks who are like at the top making decisions, it's not so big that they're choosing to be disconnected from the day-to-day people who are doing the work that they support. Particularly for my younger kids. So I have youngest is 5, oldest right now is about 12 or 13. So essentially we start our session off where they get an opportunity to get a score for a minute. They get 1 minute to get as many shots as they can. From there, we do our session, and then as long as they do their work in session, then they get an opportunity to then have another shot at getting a high score from 60 seconds. If they're having a bad day, they can kind of maybe get some energy out, get some shots in, and then I can use that to kind of break the ice to get into our work, and then give them something to look forward to at the end in the session.